Welcome. In this session, we will talk about how to write a good answer for UPSC. Now, since you all have already appeared for your prelims and are looking forward towards your mains we would be starting a special series, and that would be about writing answers or mains, what to focus on. Now, under this series, we would conduct a sequence of live lectures, and under these live lectures, we would be focusing on various answer writing strategies for UPSC, be it the GS or the optional. So, to begin with, today, the very basic introduction. What are the key things that you must keep into account while you are writing your answer? And we say this as the ABC of answer writing. We move from C towards A, and that's the key under the basic discussion. So C means conceptual. You must have the in-depth knowledge about the content you are writing on. If you don't have the required knowledge, there is no point writing an answer, because reading it, the examiner would get to know at once that this is not the original content. The second one is B, which says brevity. Now, since you have the conceptual knowledge and the information, you can write a lot about it, but you have to be to the point, concise and informative, and that is what is brevity. And finally, the most important part of it, A for art or A for appealing. That means how to make your answer suitable for the examiner, or consider this answer to be written for a layman. So when a layman is reading this answer, if they are able to capture it at once, then it is all set. I'll discuss this with a very simple example today. Soumya and others, those who have query, please post those in the comment section. I'll be taking the queries as we proceed. Now, we are conducting a answer writing seminar. I'll take this as an example to help you understand what are the flaws that you commonly do when you are writing your answer. Now, in this flyer, what is the major problem that you find? Now, you are aware with the other information, so as I proceed, you would be able to understand what I'm trying to say here. But for the first one, what is the problem here? I'm saying that there is a seminar. On day 1 and day 2, we would be doing a respective set of tasks. But where is this? When is this? And whom can I connect to? So here, the major issue is, okay, I know about the seminar, but where it is going to be organized, that means information is lacking. The same happens when you are writing your answers for your mains. Sometimes it so happens that you miss the main information, despite the fact this could be knowingly, unknowingly. Sometimes you know it, sometimes you don't know it, but in certain cases you skip the important information that needs to be the part of the answer writing. And that's one of the key things that you need to consider when we are talking about this. There is a question from Neelam, how to prepare for Directorate of Medical Education and Research. Neelam, if you could brief us on to the syllabus, I can better guide you what would be the right approach for the examination. Or alternatively, you can drop an email to me personally at manishika.jan@mindspreadsolutions.com, or you can drop a WhatsApp on this number. One of our team members would definitely connect to you. So our number is available here, right? So you can contact on this number. Now, what I'm doing in the second slide is, I'm saying that there is a 2-day seminar, but I'm giving you the location, I'm giving you the right person to connect with, and all the information, but I'm not saying what would happen on the 2 respective days. If I'm not citing that out, again, there is a lack of information. How to figure that out when you are writing your mains answer? So when you are writing your mains answer, again the same thing would happen. Sometimes you keep the main information. As we said, the main information was this that we had in the previous slide. So main information is there, but again there is a supporting information which is not the key information, but still plays a very vital role in actually enhancing the answer. I give you a very simple example to demonstrate the same thing. Let's say you are asked a question on any theory, right? You write the main content of the theory, but you don't mention the assumptions under the theory. Now, assumptions are though not directly asked in the question, but are implicit. If you are writing about the information, then you need to write the assumptions as well. So this is a supporting information. It's not directly asked in the question paper, but you have to introduce it. The same happens here. This is a supporting information. It is not directly being asked in the flyer. No one is asking what would happen, but if it is there, it is an additional plus plus. Okay, there is another question from Yukta. I am an intern of MBBS. So Yukta, if you are doing your internship, if you are looking to prepare for NEET PG or you are looking to prepare for UPSC, you have to first take a call on that. Secondly, if you are targeting for UPSC, you have to decide on your optional. You can take medical science as an optional. Other close optionals to medical science would be psychology as one of the good optionals, because you have been studying that under psychiatry as well as PSM. So that would be a closer option, the optional that you can take, Yukta. And then regarding your preparation for the means, if you are in a state that you are thinking that you would be qualifying your prelims and looking forward for your means, in the last few months, what should be your right approach? So means, as I always say, is very targeted. That means you know what kind of questions would be asked in your examination. So the broad topics, for example, I take a very simple case for today, for yesterday, day before yesterday, and that was the rail accident. So the railway and the related phenomena has become important. We would be taking a specific case study in the upcoming live sessions, where we would discuss more about how you can write a good answer when you are asked about, let's say, a railway safety network, the concept of kavach, the idea of main line, loop line. So what could be some of the important things that you can bring in your answer if you have a question which pertains to or which relates to the railway safety network? Again, sometimes the questions that are asked have certain keywords which are critical, evaluate, critically examine. We'll discuss into those in detail under the session. But here, what I want to focus on is, now let's say I give you all the information. I give you what happens on day 1, day 2, where is it happening, whom you can connect, but I don't give you the date, when. If that when information is missing, don't you think this is a big chunk of information which is missing? And therefore, what becomes important here? The important thing that you need to take from this in your answer writing is, sometimes you forget to bring in a historical perspective in your answer. Let's say even for railways, if I'm on to the same topic, you might say that yes, there was no kavach system historically, but still, if there were railway accidents, they were not so detrimental. Why? Because the speed of the train was less. Now, what you are trying to bring here is a historical perspective, or I could say a temporal perspective, which is again a very important aspect. So, when you are answering your question for your UPSC, what is required? I say it is an interdisciplinary approach. Why it is an interdisciplinary approach? What kind of approach I have taken into account here? The thing which is written here is a spatial approach, talking about the geographical aspect where this seminar is going to be. The second thing I am focusing on is a temporal aspect, when it would be. And the third thing is the main key, or the supporting information that would be supporting the main thing which is being mentioned here. So when any question which is given for your UPSC, and you are being asked to write on it, you have to understand it from various perspectives. What kind of perspective? The geographical perspective, the historical perspective, or the economic perspective. Now, taking back the same example of railways, if we are talking about the railway safety network, what are the key things that you need to take into account? Geographically, which are the areas where you have more of fast trains and the networking which is not under coverage. We have to jot down historical examples where we would be mentioning the major places where historically the railways have been the major hubs, and then economically, that if there are no proper safety measures, what could be the implications, the economic implications, and even in bringing the safety measures, what are the economic implications and the constraints that we have to take into account. Besides these, we can also bring in an international perspective where we say other countries. What are the methodologies being used by other countries? Because India is not one of the countries which is not the only country which is using the which is having the fast trains, but when we have fast trains across the globe, what is the right strategy which is being adopted by other nations? So understanding and distributing the answer from various perspectives would give you a complete insight. So in this session, we are just trying to have a brainstorming about good ways of answer writing. There is a question from Soumya, how to write introduction in UPSC Mains. Now Soumya, a very wonderful question, I would say. Mostly students do a common mistake. They write introduction, body and conclusion. Explicitly they write these terms and then start and mention their answer. Now there is no one proper methodology or statements, I could say, which you can bring in your introduction. Every introduction is different from another introduction based on the requirement of the question. Let's come to the same thing that we had talked previously. If the question pertains to any theory, you are asked to explain any one of the theories. Now, when you are asked to explain one of the theories, there could be a person who would start with that this theory was given by XYZ in the year 1995 or so on, and this is what the theory is. There could be another person who could start with that this is the aim of the theory, and this theory had been given by so many scientists. This was the main propounder in the year this. Now both of them are acceptable ways of answering the questions, but what would be more appealing if you are reading that concept? Let's say I am a layman, I don't know anything about this theory. When I am reading this answer, I would be more interested to know what it is about rather than who gave it, right? So always who gave it and which year it was given would be a secondary information, similar to a secondary information which is at the bottom of this page. Also, the major idea becomes the primary thing that you have to take into account. So that's in the case of theory. Now let's say the question was on railway safety or it was on gig employees. Now here there could be another interesting way of starting the answer. What could be my way of starting the answer? My methodology to start the answer here could be I can bring in a comparative picture in the very first sentence. For example, in Japan, this is the proportion of the trains of the total number of transport vehicles, and this is the proportion of the train accidents which are cited. However, in contrast to this is the scenario for India. Now, keeping this in mind, why railway safety is such a huge concern becomes an important way of answering. So, one good way could be to bring in the statistical comparison or the analysis in the very first introduction and then proceed with the answer. The other way of answering the same question, let's say on railway safety, could be what? A railway safety question could start with historically what had been the railway safety measures. So one way is I can bring in a historical perspective that these were the safety measures and right now we are on coverage. The second way, as I said, I could bring in the statistics and explain that why India needs to revamp significantly on the safety measures. The third way I can start my answer is a global picture. What are the other technologies which are used worldwide, and compare those technologies to the Indian technology and say what could be the additional plus things that could be taken into account. So these are different perspectives in which I can start my answer, or I can simply start my answer like a conventional essay, where I say yes, rail safety is important, rail safety would definitely prevent major accidents in future, and a very simple answer like that, but that won't create a deeper insight for the examiner. So to have that grasp for the examiner, it's really important that you go for a proper approach. Even for students who are going through the model answers, a lot of you can go through the model answers that we provide, but again, those who are going through the model answers, I recommend read those answers, understand the flaws in them, and then try to brainstorm, think what extra information you could have provided in this answer, and that would be a perfect way of approaching towards your UPSC mains answer writing. Even if you join test series for months and you keep on writing, still you are on the same pace, you are not able to improve your score. Why? The logic is very simple, you don't introspect. So introspect where you are going wrong, a right insight into why you are not able to answer despite going through the model answers, despite going through the various things, going for answer writing course for more than 3 months. I'm not able to score well. Why? Lack of introspection, and that is what is extremely important. Sandeep, thanks a lot, and welcome again, but definitely I don't want you to welcome for a very long time. I want you should be able to achieve your dreams very soon and get out of the channel, or just leave the channel. That would be some of the greatest gifts you could give to me. Definitely thanks for joining in, and yes, if you have any questions, please post those again. So the idea here is, again, what is the pre-guidance and the post-guidance mean? Pre-guidance and post-guidance mean you would be given a topic or few questions to write on. You would be writing the answer. Then what we would discuss is some hints, some ideas, and some flows that could be incorporated in the answer. On the same topic, you would be asked to write again. And then I won't do anything. You automatically, I would definitely do something, but you automatically can understand the difference in the two answers that are produced. And that is by no one else, by you yourself. Why? Because you had got a proper insight into answer writing. Note that students who are qualifying prelims are already good. Okay, since they are already good, they have a knowledge, they have qualified prelims. So your competition for mains definitely is tough. But this tough competition could be made very easy by making your writing exceptional writing. And that's one of the key things that I think most of the students miss. And what is really important is to identify. It's just like insight, a simple insight. I don't know whether you are familiar with that monkey and banana story. So I'll just brief you here. There is a cage, there is a monkey. Those from psychology might be aware about it, but there is a loop of banana which is hanging here, and this monkey wants to get those banana. Now monkey suddenly finds few sticks here. What the monkey does is joins one stick to another and finally gets the banana down and have the banana. So here monkey has this insight feeling. Aha, I got it, right? And the same insight feeling must arise as part of this seminar, and that's what is our main focus. So understanding where you are going wrong and what should be the right track for writing your answer is very, very important, and personalized guidance and assistance would definitely be helpful for the same. Wish you very good luck. In case you have any questions, any doubts, feel free to connect directly to me or to our helpline number which is given here, and our team members would definitely get in touch with you for the best help. Thanks for joining in today.